The following program is sponsored by John Chachis Insurance, your local farmer's insurance agent located 800 Avenue G in Ely, and brought to you as a public service by Ely TV, Channel 3-2 in Ely, Nevada. White Pine County Regional Transportation Commission meeting, August 22nd, 2013.
Do you want me to send you copies of all of them? Or?
I got the minutes, but I just wasn't. I've got the minutes of the previous one.
May 23rd
And the 6th.
to the 6th special meeting. Last time you weren't here.
Yes.
You was there. Okay. We'll call the Regional Transportation Commission meeting of August 22nd order. Roll call.
Mike,
Here.
Wayne,
Here.
Tom,
Here.
Bill,
Here.
BJ,
Here.
George.
Here.
Bruce is absent.
Okay. Chapters, public comment.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, I have the same concerns and I received any response from you at all. Still looking for that written policy that requires requests for information from the board be submitted via certified mail. I'm still looking for the list of RTC projects within this RTC projects in which monies were used from the RTC within the city of Ely for 2010, 2011. Again, Avenue C and M in particular. And now I'd like a list for those in 2012. This request is over a year old. What is this?
That's 2010, 2011 that I had, George.
Okay, thank you. I'm still concerned about the curb and gutter issue on 7th Street and Norton Avenue. That hasn't been completed. In the RTC meetings in the past, you stated that it was in the budget, yet it was never put in. The RTC cannot circumvent city codes. I asked if the curb and gutter was going to be installed after the fact. I've yet to receive an answer. I'm still concerned about the narrowing of the street Campton, where the Copper Queen and Great Basin Boulevard is. That road's supposed to be 55 foot wide. That's according to the official county maps. There's no public hearing to narrow the street. I took a rough edge measurement, 27.5 feet from the retaining wall of Mrs. J.O., and you got 17 feet on the other side. No public hearing. I've got property in that area. I was never notified, neither were my brothers. You just can't close down a street like that. There's also the regulations that pertain to state highway or federal highways. You have to have a certain amount of width on the road. I don't think that's in compliance. I'm still concerned about the paving out to Mr. Tom Oxborough's home and mine. We've been waiting since 1974, yet I don't see anything on here to address those issues about paving that road. Others out there have had their roads paved once, maybe twice, and we've got nothing, and we were the first ones out there. That's all I have at this time.
Thank you. Item 3, discussion action approval, change orders for the 7th Street project. BJ?
Unfortunately, I do not have a change order together. And the reason I don't have a change order together is I begged, pleaded, telling Terry and those guys, I need your numbers, I need your numbers, I need your numbers. And unfortunately, they're 100% focused on the field work, and they're letting the paperwork kind of lapse. I told them I had this meeting, I needed to get some stuff together for this meeting, and still, unfortunately, I never received any paperwork on that. do have an estimate for what I'm trying to accomplish out there. And a little explanation of what I'm trying to accomplish out there is from the railroad tracks to the west. That's kind of the bottom's very fine material. It's not the best material. So the original design was that we were basically milling out 13 inches of that. They were going to mix in some enzyme materials into that and bring back in 6 inches of that, and then on top of that would be type 2, and then your paving, put it back up. So the bottom material just isn't the best material. It's kind of fine, so I think we would get a better product if we, in fact, instead of replacing that the milled out material, we'd probably be better off to bring in a pit run or a type 2 type of material to replace that. We could still enzyme treat it, but I think we get a better product in there. So basically what I estimated on that is I took basically their type 2, what they bid us a type 2 for $6 a yard. If I calculate an approximate volume of that road, the width of that roadway from the road tracks to the east of the end of the project, it's about 850 yards. That's about $5,070 to replace that millings with a type 2 material. The other option that I wanted to get in there, and I took, me and Bill went and drove that road last week, and I showed Bill what my desires were. There was a section of that roadway that was it was basically block long between 2 alleys. If you went down Ogden, it would be to go to the alley, first alley to the east, half a block, come back half a block to the east alley. That's kind of a real area that has some really bad material in there. And so what I was proposing is that we over excavate possibly another foot of material out of there and bring it back in with some other more competent material. And so this is just an estimate. This is obviously isn't their number. I come in here and I estimate about 370 yards between that alley, or basically 1 block length. And at that, I estimated it at $20 a yard. The reason I estimated it at $20 a yard is because that is them bringing their equipment, over excavating that material, hauling that material off, and then hauling in a pit run material that has a little bigger, granular material that we could bring back up in there. When I put that together, that portion, I get it's approximately $7,500. Again, this isn't official numbers from them because they have not provided them to me. These numbers, I think, are fairly conservative, and the reason I say that they're conservative is the type 2, I don't anticipate truly using that full 845 yards of type 2 to replace the enzyme on the west side. And the reason I say that is because, as I explained, we milled out 13 inches, and in the contract we come and put back 6 inches. The millings from the railroad tracks to the east is pretty competent material, and they got a big stockpile up there behind junction motor. So what I'm proposing to do is they'll put back, they milled out 13 inches on that side, they put back in 6, so we have quite a bit of material still left up there. I'm going to have them continue to bring that material down across the railroad tracks to the west side and fill in, and it may fill in probably 90% of that. So this number of 845 is I think a very conservative number. I don't believe that's the number that we will actually end up with. I'm just kind of presenting you numbers that I'm pretty positive that we would never exceed. And then same thing with the additional milling out of the over excavation. Our intention there is that we would have somebody from our office there while they're milling that stuff out. If we come down here and we see, hey, we got down 6 inches and we got to a little better material, then we would stop, and so we wouldn't necessarily haul it out. This would be a foot, our anticipated max. No matter what, we would probably make that bottom, because maybe we have to dig China to get out of the fine material. I don't know, but there's a point in time we've got to draw a line in the sand and say, okay, here, we've had a road on here for many years. We built back up an extra, foot and a half, 2 foot of competent base material. That would hopefully solve any problems that we ever have down there in the future. So both of those numbers are conservative. I believe that it's probably the proper thing to do in our situation down there. Bottom line, it's probably pretty good insurance for us to have a better road long term in the future. Unfortunately, I don't have an official number from them guys. And so I don't know what
Would they be starting that portion of the project prior to our next meeting?
Well, they're going to be wanting to. I'm going to tell you they're going to be wanting to. It's unfortunate that the paperwork trail hasn't followed up and kept up with the work that's going on. So I don't know if maybe this time if you can approve these unit costs up into this amount, and then we will just work with them and say, hey, this is the number that you're going to get. If you don't want to do this, you should have this number in there before. This is the number that the RTC has basically agreed on, and this is where we're at. I can go back and go that way so that we don't delay the project waiting for a meeting or trying to schedule a special meeting. Whatever you guys desire and directions for us, we'll do whatever you guys' desires are.
Personally, I like to have the correct numbers in front of us,
Okay.
instead of guessing.
But I do believe that one of it is going to be an estimate no matter what, because I don't know how far that material is going to go across and have to replace with type 2. I'm telling you it will not be more than this.
It just depends on the condition of what's there when you excavate, right?
Yeah, the excavation portion of it, is probably
If
fairly
it turns
close
out
number.
good, then it's that.
Yeah, if it turns out good 6 inches down, then it'll be, say, half of that. The type 2, I'm pretty positive will absolutely be less than this because we got material that we're going to move over there. I'm just not sure how far that material is going to stretch down at that bottom end of the project. Once you get it in place, compact it, it may go 50% of that road down there. It may go 80% of that road. I'm not positive at this point in time.
So what's the total of the two? Is about 20 or?
The total of the two is, I get in strictly a construction cost of $12,470
For both.
for both.
How do we look at that financially?
Financially, I come back and I put together based on we have original contract budget with all the budget together of $587,775 through all of our when you subtract out all the fees, the contract, all the oversight, design, change order number 1, and then when you add in change order number 2, I come up with what's remaining in the budget of $38,514. But in these change orders, I've actually put in the change orders, and I'm tracking this, I put in a contingency in there in case something went wrong with them. So there actually is truly more money available still than the $38,000. I'm doing everything very conservatively here so that in case we run into things that we're not sure of. I'm not trying to run us down to a penny, but when I added everything, including this change order, with all of them having a contingency in it, we still have a remaining $38,500.
I don't see a problem in, if we don't exceed that, we've got the money to do it. One concern I have right now is September 1st rolling around, we might be in snow. I'd hope that could all be done as soon as possible, because if we don't get it done when the weather changes, we would be in a world of hurt. And I thank you.